Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers, I'm Jan, and today I'm revealing 36 devilish details you missed in Lucifer Season 5, from crazy Easter eggs to hilarious meta-references and ingenious production design.
Spoiler alert, it is gonna be epic.
The third episode of Season 5 is perhaps one of the funniest in the series so far, as Lucifer and Chloe investigate a murder on the set of Diablo, a network TV procedural show that's an hilariously OTT version of Lucifer. Some of the jokes are more obvious riffs on the characters we know and love.
Like I keep telling you, Detective Doofus.
A reference to Lucifer's Detective Douche nickname for Dan, but others are more subtle, such as the show's billboard with Diablo's name in neon lights, just like the original Season 1 Lucifer poster. And then there's Diablo's version of Lucifer's mojo power.
You want to find the killer, figure out their yearning.
Isn't there a better word for that?
Although Lucy evidently doesn't like the word yearn, he did actually say it himself in Season 1, when he used his mojo against a corrupt LAPD detective.
What do you yearn for in that rotten soul of yours?
When Ella finds the murder weapon that killed Diablo, she calls it the only blade that can kill the devil. This is actually a sneaky reference to Azrael's blade, which featured heavily in the Season 2 episode Trip to Stabby Town, where it got close to killing Lucifer when Dan wielded it in anger against him. In episode 2, Chloe can see Michael isn't really acting like Lucifer normally would, and she tries to get him to do something typically inappropriate by giving him Dan's dessert to eat.
Is that my pudding?
Yes, here you go, Daniel.
Okay. What's your game? Spitting it? He's spitting it.
The issue of Lucifer pinching his pudding has been a recurring joke throughout the series ever since Lucy stole it in Season 2.
I know you ate my pudding.
And another time, Dan even discovered that Lucy's mum Charlotte was also stealing his pudding. In fact, there was a whole episode in Season 3 devoted to a crime that occurred at the dessert factory.
Pudding Plus is my favorite, okay? Twice as much protein as all the other brands.
But poor Dan never really gets a break, because when the real Lucifer returns from hell in Season 5, he starts using Dan's mug for his whiskey drinking at the police precinct. The noir episode is a lot of fun, with loads of Easter eggs and references hidden in the background. When Lucifer and P.I. Jack Monroe go to visit Willy the Sausage Prince, they find him getting his portrait painted while ridiculously dressed as a knight. And if you take a closer look on the walls, there are lots more portraits of Willy, who clearly sees and models himself after old European royalty, because there's a portrait of him in the exact same style as a famous painting of England's King Henry VIII. And there's another portrait of him that looks very much like the style of this painting of the French King Francis I. Then there's a nightclub where Lily Rose, aka Lilith, sings, which is appropriately named the Garden Club, because Lilith originally lived with Adam in the Garden of Eden and kept a piece of the garden in her ring. And her flowery name in the show, Lily Rose, is another nice nod to her Garden of Eden origins. Inside the club behind the bar is Al Capone's machine gun with a plaque that reads, "Thanks for listening." Of course, customers sometimes pour their problems out to bartenders who have a reputation as sympathetic listeners, so it's no coincidence that Linda, who's a therapist in the modern-day world of Lucifer, turns out to be the bartender at the club Al Capone frequented. But there's an extra layer to this reference, because the noir episode is set in 1946, which is the same year that the real-life Capone was examined by a psychiatrist who declared that the mobster had the mentality of a 12-year-old child. Oh, and when the bartender pours Lucifer a drink, we get another little shout out to actress Rachel Harris's usual role in the show and how Lucifer normally addresses her as Doctor, when Lucy says,
Oh, lovely, just what the doctor ordered.
In episode 2, just before Chloe reveals to Michael that she knows who he really is, she shows him the bullet necklace Lucifer gave her in Season 3.
It's the bullet from when you shot me, remember, in the warehouse early in our partnership?
Chloe showing the bullet to Michael just before she shoots him in the leg, exactly like she did to Lucifer in Season 1, is a delicious detail that proves Michael can't fool her.
Once I shot Lucifer to prove he was the devil, and now I'm shooting you to prove you're not.
Interestingly, Michael betrayed himself in his reaction when Chloe showed him the necklace, because if you rewatch the moment, there's a slight flicker of hesitation when she mentions it.
See? Still have it on.
I can see that.
And on top of that, because Michael doesn't know what the bullet necklace is, he also doesn't realise that Chloe's technically lying when she says that she still has it on, because she actually took the necklace off towards the end of Season 3 when she got together with Pierce, and didn't wear it at all in Season 4. After Lucifer and Chloe sleep together for the first time, he asks her whether she feels cold, making a joke about how in the first season Chloe was adamant she'd never have sex with him.
I will never, ever sleep with you. Never.
Paying hard to get, I like it.
When hell freezes over Lucifer.
And notice that when Chloe arrives at Lucy's place that night, she's dressed in red, a colour of passion and love, of course, but also a colour closely associated with the devil. In the show, Lucifer often wears a little red pocket square, and the soles of his shoes are also coloured red. And we saw only last season how the show's costume department played on that colour association in Eve's clothes, which went from being heavenly white to various shades of red after she reconnected with Lucifer. The morning after, when Chloe wakes up, she asks Lucy if she was snoring like a truck driver. She doesn't let him reply, but the moment's a nice callback to season 1, when she woke up in Lucifer's bed after getting drunk the night before. That time, nothing actually happened between them, but as she leaves, Lucifer tells her,
You snore, by the way, like an Albanian field wench.
Another funny season 5 moment comes when Maze decides to style herself exactly like Ella in an effort to try and be nicer and learn how to become more emotionally available, as Dr. Linda suggested.
Oh my god, I have that exact same shirt!
Yes, you did.
Wait, did you steal my clothes?
Maze doesn't just get Ella's look down to a T, she also hilariously tries to imitate Ella's mannerisms. And that moment reminds me of other such humorous times on the show, including season 2, when Lucifer decided to learn how to douche and dressed up and tried to be like Dan.
Where to now, Twinsy?
And then there was the time in season 4 that Eve dressed up as Chloe and also copied her body language to try and get Lucifer's attention. In season 5, Ella almost seems to find her geeky soulmate in Pete when he turns up with tickets for a Star Trek convention and they both start having a conversation in Klingon. A funny little callback to when Ella tried to talk to Chloe in the fictional language in season 2.
Tavalu! Tavan what? It's Klingon for the king is trapped. In Star Trek, they play three-dimensional chess.
And there's an even geekier detail in the clothes Ella wears to the convention. Her uniform is blue, which is the colour worn by science and medical personnel in Star Trek, and that fits our Ella perfectly as she's a forensic scientist. When Michael strides into the middle of a shootout between Chloe and a bunch of bad guys, he whistles the theme to the show, which Chloe immediately recognises because this isn't the first time that tune is featured in an episode. Yes, back during a case involving a murdered musician in season 2, Lucifer wrote a song for Chloe that perfectly sums up both his role in their partnership and the show's premise.
Crime-solving devil, it makes sense. Don't overthink it.
Intriguingly, the plot of that season 2 episode also involved Lucifer returning to LA out of the blue after having spent time in hell to save Chloe, a situation which nicely mirrors the circumstances in season 5, though this time it's Michael pretending to be Lucifer who returns. There must be some big Stanley Kubrick fans among the Lucifer crew, as season 5 has visual shout-outs to not one but two of the iconic filmmaker's movies. In episode 2, Chloe's investigation into murderous goings-on in a tech billionaire's space simulation provides the perfect opportunity for a tribute to 2001: A Space Odyssey. The story kicks off with a callback to the film's spaceship and its sleek monochrome design, and the image of an astronaut making their way up an octagonal walkway. The next Kubrick reference pops up in episode 7, when Chloe and Lucifer head to the home of a man they believe to be a serial killer. Some Shining-esque music plays in the background as a little boy pedals down a corridor on a tricycle,
Well, that bodes well.
just as Danny Torrance rode around the corridors of the Overlook Hotel in The Shining. And the wallpaper in the apartment block corridor also has vibes of the Shining Hotel's carpet about it, with its geometric pattern and orange and brown colouring. When Lilith is explaining to Lucifer the history of her ring, she talks about how the Aztecs threw her into a volcano.
I survive, and somebody writes it on a stone tablet. You know how these things start.
I do.
Her comment about stone tablets is a reference to the 10 Commandments that God gave to Moses, which were inscribed on 2 tablets of stone, and which form the basis of many of the rules in Judaism and Christianity. In the finale, Michael delights in preying on Amenadiel's fears for his son Charlie, really tapping into his anxiety about his baby's ill health, growing up, and even his mortality. As Michael badgers Amenadiel about all this and Lucifer joins in arguing against Michael, we see the twins position themselves on either side of their brother, creating an image of a literal devil and angel on Amenadiel's shoulders.
They grow up so fast. Don't listen to him, brother. Don't let him get inside your head.
The interesting thing here is that the devil, Lucifer, is the one appealing to Amenadiel's better nature, while the angel, Michael, is the one trying to make him indulge his worst instincts. Often in this angel and devil on the shoulder trope, the devil appears on the protagonist's left side as that's associated with evil, while the angel appears on their right side. However here, Lucifer the Devil is on Amenadiel's right, while Michael the Angel is on Amenadiel's left, reinforcing the fact that Lucifer and Michael act contrary to their prescribed roles. This scene also reminds me of a similar moment in season 4.
Lucifer, stop. Lucifer, do it.
When the killer's revealed in episode 6 during a DJ set at Lux, it turns out to be a jealous ex-husband. And as he explains why he did it, green lights swirl around him, and there's even a shot that makes it look as if they're radiating from his head. Of all the colours they could have chosen to light this scene and frame the killer's head, green is the perfect one, as it's long been associated with jealousy and envy. The crucial moment at the very end of the penultimate episode sees Dan arrive with a gun and proceed to shoot Lucifer right in front of Chloe. But those with a keen ear might have noticed something familiar about the soundtrack playing in the lead up to that moment. Yes, if you're a fan of the critically acclaimed Netflix series Dark, you might have recognised the song playing in the background as Inside, which played in the third and final season of that series. The lyrics of the song, which plays subtly in the background, perfectly rack up the tension and enhance the dramatic build-up to Dan pulling the trigger on Lucifer. As a show, Lucifer has always enjoyed making meta-references.
Sounds like a soon-to-be-cancelled TV show.
But in season 5 there are so many that I'll list some of the best here. After Ella discovers that Chloe and Lucifer have finally had sex, she explains her reaction in the same way that many of the fandom's Decker Star shippers may well have felt before that moment.
I was so ready to have my Decker Star dreams crushed again. Why? Because it's been one bummer after another with you two. I didn't want to get my hopes up.
And the tagline of the Diablo TV show is "Don't tell him the devil made you do it," which is a reference back to Lucifer's complaints earlier in the series about humans trying to pin the blame for their sins on him all the time.
Oh, the devil made me do it. I have never made any one of them do anything.
Which is why it's particularly funny when Ella quotes the tagline back at Lucifer.
Don't tell him the devil made you do it. Huh?
And there's the moment when Lucifer comments about the actor who plays Diablo and the script notes he made about his character.
Had a fascinating insight into the character, some wild theories about self-loathing, but we can't get it all right.
This is of course a joke about Lucifer and how his own self-hatred and sense of guilt came to a head in season 4, causing him to transform into his full devil form. Although Lucy eventually recognised his self-hatred back then,
Why do I hate myself so much?
now that reference seems to have flown completely over his head. In the Noir episode, down the alleyway outside the Garden Club, there's a sign for the Alibi Room, a little in-joke for fans of procedural shows like Lucifer. A few other meta details are that Carnal Girl 506, one of Jed's jilted lovers, appears in episode 506 of the series. And in episode 507, the fake Whisper Killer lives in Unit 507. Also, Linda's daughter, Adriana Nassar, is named after a Netflix Originals manager. As you can see, season 5 of Lucifer is really packing in the callbacks to previous seasons, so it's well worth making time for an epic binge rewatch. But as much as we love our streaming services, it can be really frustrating to find the TV show you want to watch or the latest seasons of it aren't available in your country. However, thanks to the sponsor of this video, NordVPN, you can make these kind of geo-restrictions a thing of the past. A VPN or virtual private network helps you bypass geo-restrictions or censorship on content not available to view in your country. NordVPN can help you connect to many streaming services. Just pick a server in another location and browse the internet as if you were there. One thing we like about Nord is the super fast download speeds on its 5,000 plus servers through the use of new generation VPN technologies like WireGuard. And unlike many free and slower VPNs, Nord has a no-log policy, meaning it doesn't record or retain details of your online activity when you're connected to its service. Plus, you can connect up to 6 devices at the same time, including your laptop, tablet, desktop, phone and home router, so you can cover all of your connected devices. For a limited time, NordVPN are offering all our viewers 68% off the 2-year plan and a bonus month absolutely free. It works out at just $3.71 a month to secure your online privacy, and you get an additional month for free. Just visit nordvpn.com/flicks or tap the link in the video description to access the offer. So what was your favourite moment in season 5, and did you spot any other Easter eggs or cool details? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Tap left to watch my full Lucifer playlist, including part 1 ending explained and part 2 and season 6 theories, or tap right for another video you're sure to like. And if you enjoyed this, a thumbs up and a share are hugely appreciated. Thanks for watching and see you next time, yippee-ki-yay movie lovers!